Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tidus Talk, episode number 17, featuring our special guest, RedheadORama. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you very much. Uh, so, I usually like to start it off with a couple things. First, anybody here who's live on Twitch as opposed to YouTube, exclamation point raffle will get you an entry into a giveaway for a gift sub to RedheadORama's channel. So, if you're interested in that, go ahead and do that. Uh, Otherwise, I do like to say how I got introduced to you, which is purely Cinderella 2014. Uh,
Yep.
I always tell everybody, if you know somebody who might want to join me, feel free to let me know. She's actually the only one who's ever reached out to somebody who I don't know. So she told me about you. I don't even know how long it was ago at this point. You said you're interested. Went and followed the channel. I tried to catch you. It's you and is it your wife or
Well,
girlfriend
I
or
mean, it should have been in April, but coronavirus.
oh,
So, fiance still.
well, fiance. Well, congratulations on the engagement, and sorry your weddings got messed up. But hopefully you'll be able to pick up where you left off when everything kind of goes back.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, we'll learn a lot about you today because, as I was telling you before we started, I don't really know a lot about you, so this will be fun.
Yeah.
Uh, so, for anybody who doesn't know who you are, why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Okay. I'm RedheadORama. You can just call me Alex. I started streaming full time on Twitch about a year and a half ago, and basically, like my channel, I just wanted I grew up watching these long form, like unedited YouTube Let's Plays with groups of people, friends. It just felt like, you were sitting on the couch with some friends playing a game. And I wanna like recreate that feeling in my channel of just, you know, sitting on the couch playing a game with a friend. And so that's kind of what my channel's about. It's we don't play one single game or stick to a certain series or anything like that. It's just whatever I'm feeling like playing that day, that's what's on the channel.
That was going to be
And
one of my questions later on. Actually, was that I go in there and it's always a different game.
yeah, yeah. We do like to have certain days for certain games. Like I have fighting game Fridays and Metal Gear Mondays, um, but they're just guidelines. I like to mix it up. So
Well, that's cool.
yeah.
So when you say full time, do you, I mean is just I mean this is it a living type making a living type of deal, or is it just you know what do you mean by that specifically?
Yeah, I do this full time now. I This is my job, so thankfully, my wonderful fiance has a has a job working as a teacher, and so she helps us pay the bills. And I'm going all in on this. I stream for at least 5 hours a day. It was 6 days a week, and then you know coronavirus stay at home order happened, and then I'm like, screw it, 7 days a week.
There you go.
So yeah, I don't really take a day off, and then whatever time I'm not streaming, I try to find new games for my channel, or I try to edit down VODs to make highlight videos. And yeah, it's my channel has blown up since I started. I used to struggle to get a viewer, and now I'm sitting at, you know, I think I just hit the Twitch achievement for having 15 average viewers over 30 days.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's been crazy, and I've built this wonderful community that I absolutely love. And it's been so nice during this time of limited social interaction to have this social outlet where I can talk to people.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah,
All right, so we'll go into the base questions here. So, how long have you
sure.
been gaming? Is it a lifelong thing or
Oh, gosh, my dad has stories of me gaming that I don't remember. Like that's how long it's been. He said he gave me the controller in this racing game, I think it was called it's like called Road Rage or something. It might have been
Okay,
called Road Rash
I know the
for
game.
the PS1. For PS1.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he gave me the controller for that one, and I would just hit the go button, and I of course couldn't use the control stick at the time, but I would just hit the go button, and he said I would like almost win races just by like holding go and like mashing the other racers off the road.
Oh,
So it's been a long time for me. Ever since I can remember, I've been gaming. I played a lot of games on the PlayStation 1. Crash Bandicoot was my first like franchise that I remember playing. I remember enjoying.
I mean, who doesn't love Crash?
Absolutely right. I'm so happy with the recent remasters that have come out.
Oh, me too. Love them.
Yeah. Um, and the first console I ever had, uh, like to myself, that was my console, was the GameCube. I got a GameCube with a Super Smash Bros. Melee like bundled into it, and that was the start of my love for Nintendo. Um, from then I got like I played Game Boy games and the DS and the Wii and of course, but I got a little bit of a late start to it. I never played Mario 64 until I made a friend who had the Nintendo 64. And then I got to experience the classics.
You didn't play the
Um,
DS version when it came out?
oh, I did play Super Mario 64 DS. Yeah, but like at the time I didn't even realize it was an old game.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, and of course it's way different on the DS because you only had like eight-way movement and
Right.
um, but yeah, that's sort of my origins of gaming there. My dad and I would sit down and play Crash Team Racing together. Um, I have this specific memory of. Um, do you remember? Of course, I'm sure you do. The Bumblebee levels in Crash
Oh,
3,
absolutely.
I think it is.
I remember the
Yeah,
levels. Which specific Crash, I don't
I,
remember, but
yeah, I think they're in Crash 2 actually. But yeah, those Bumblebee
oh yeah,
levels,
they come up. Yeah.
yeah, I could not beat those as a kid. I have this extremely specific memory of, um, like I of course needed my dad to beat that level for me, so I gave him the controller and he was playing the game and I was watching and I was like so tense that he almost died or he might have died or something and I reached my hand to my mouth and I knocked out one of my loose teeth.
Oh.
So yeah, I just have this super specific memory of like being so surprised I knocked out a loose tooth, and of course Dad had to stop because now I'm like bleeding
Right.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
that's something you don't forget.
yeah.
All right. What are some of your favorite games and genres of games?
Well, I really enjoy platformers. I've played a lot of platformers. Celeste recently caught my attention, and um, that game is extremely good. Uh, I tend not to like turn-based RPGs very much, but and yet, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door and Chrono Trigger are two of my favorite games of all time.
Oh, Paper Mario is so good.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so sad that the Paper Mario franchise has just been swirling down the toilet bowl lately.
Have you heard the rumor about the Paper
I've heard,
Mario? Okay.
but it's not the first time I've heard it. So
I,
I tend not to get my hopes up until Nintendo makes an official announcement.
absolutely. But I heard it and I was like, oh, please, please.
I know, right?
For those who don't
Yeah,
know what I'm
and
referring to, there's a rumor earlier this year about first of all, there's apparently going to be, I think it's four or five different Mario games remastered into a collection, and then a new Paper Mario in the vein of the first two, which are the turn-based RPGs, coming out this year. Obviously, just rumor and speculation, but everybody's like, please.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for years, people have been saying Nintendo could just print some money if they wanted by making a sequel to The Thousand Year Door.
Right.
like you don't even have to make up new lore for it. Just have us go back to Rogueport.
And they don't. It doesn't even have to be a sequel. If they re-released it, cleaned up, people would still go
Oh
be
yeah,
all about it.
sure. And I'm excited to see if they're gonna do like you said, a remaster of Super Mario Sunshine, because that's also got to go on my favorite games of all time. I know people think it's like the weakest 3D Mario game,
Hmm.
but I love it the most because I grew up with it, and like I love the dives, I love the water, I like everything about it. I just love that game.
I don't remember a lot about it. I remember I have played it, I have beat it, but I was never one for underwater and levels, so I think that kind of like
Mm,
kept me away from spending too much time into it.
yeah, I mean, bit of a tangent here, but like the only underwater levels where I was like, oh, this is good, and it wasn't like a detriment to the game, were in the new Rayman games, Rayman Origins and
I
Rayman
love
Legends.
those.
Yeah, yeah, they do the underwater levels in a
So
way that's
good.
like fun. Yeah, yeah, and I was of course surprised when I was playing it. I was like, oh, how is this not terrible?
Right? Yeah.
I even think there's like an underwater escort mission, and it's somehow like not the worst thing in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Legends so much I actually platinumed it twice.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
or is it three times? Because I did
Oh my god.
PS3, Vita, and PS4, I think, and
Oh wow.
it's just so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta play some more of that. I don't think I ever finished that game.
Really, and
Uh,
also
yeah.
if you guys haven't played Legends, you like platformers, do it because it also contains the levels from Origins.
Yeah.
So you get both games in one. So, and it's cheap as dirt now, so you have no excuse if you like platformers.
Yeah. I think they gave it out for free a little while ago on the Epic Games Store. So if you've been grabbing those free games,
You probably already have it.
yeah.
So we got so that was some of your favorite games. What about genres? What genres do you tend to lean towards?
Yeah, I really like platformers. I I'm a big fighting game fan. Um, you name a fighting game, I've probably played it. Um, I'm I'm big into Street Fighter because that was one of my first fighting game franchises, and currently they've got a character in the roster I really enjoy playing. But yeah, fighting games I know a lot about, and platformers I really enjoy getting good at platformers. Um, God, I'm trying to think.
So that being said, have if you said since you said platformers, have you played ukulele?
I haven't. That one is it's in my library. I know it is because they gave it out. Like I said, they gave it out for free a little while back. Um, but I have not actually played it.
Okay, so there, yeah, it's in the vein of like Mario 64 and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
I've heard it's sort of well, I mean, it's pretty obviously connected to Banjo Kazooie,
right,
um, and I heard it was like at least the first one was kind of disappointing to people.
yeah, it was very mixed. The first one, I did platinum it, and so it's enjoyable, but it's definitely got its flaws. That being said, I've heard the Impossible Lair that came out recently. They turned it to a 2D side scroller platformer. It's supposed to be much better.
Yeah, I mean, I have sort of an outsider's view on it because I didn't really play the Banjo Kazooie type games. I never even had like Ratchet and Clank or Jack and Daxter.
Ratchet and Clank so
Um,
good.
yeah, I should go back and play those. But what I was saying was, I always kind of wondered when that game kind of got a bad reception whether or not it was a bad game, or if people don't really like that genre as much as they like remembered that they do.
Right. And like you, I actually was never one to have played any of the Banjo Kazooie myself either.
Yeah.
But it's
Oh,
decent, the original.
I okay. I was looking at my Steam library because I'm like, what is a genre? Um, roguelikes. I'm super into roguelikes. I've played a lot of roguelikes. I really enjoy Nuclear Throne. Um, and Binding of Isaac, of course, I have hundreds of hours in.
So all those games where you basically die, reset, and you carry over some stuff and you replay.
Yeah, yeah, those like permadeath games. Um, my favorite indie company, um, Supergiant Games, just sort of came out with a roguelike about Greek mythology called Hades,
Hmm.
where you are the son of Hades, and you're trying to leave the underworld, which is a task easier said than done, because where do you go when you die in Greek mythology? To the underworld.
Right.
So every time you die, you end up back at home, and he's like, um,
So
it's a great premise, and they use a lot of the gods and the characters in Greek mythology as these like human characters, and they all feel like this kind of dysfunctional family, um, and it's all very relatable and cool, and their world building is second to none. I don't know if you've heard about their games. They made Transistor, Bastion,
okay, I
Pyre.
knew I'd heard of the company and I couldn't remember what, but you said Bastion and Transistor, and I was like, yes, I have both those games and I have yet to play them.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, do yourself a favor and play Transistor. It's so good. It's this customizable combat system that's just amazing, and it feels so good to play and to experiment. Yeah, it's and then if you like Transistor, Hades is pretty much roguelike Transistor.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have to get to it at some point. My catalog is so backed up.
Yeah.
And you think I'd have time to play it now, but having two kids tends to.
Oh, you got kids?
I have two. Yes, two girls. One who's
Nice.
3 and is in the age of no, 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 and then one who's 5 months. So
Wow.
yeah, I get kept busy a lot.
Yeah, I'll bet. There's this speedrunner I really enjoy, Bite Me. He does 100% Ultra Nightmare playthroughs of Doom.
Oh,
Um, yeah, and he's got a couple of daughters, I think, and I don't know how he does it, because he's so good at the games, and like you'd think like, oh man, he must be no lifing these games, but like he has a family and like a job.
so some people
Oh
are able to find the time.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
All right. So what upcoming games are you looking forward to?
Well, I mean, does that Paper Mario that we were talking about count? Because
We can throw that in there if it's a thing. Sure.
yeah, yeah, if it ends up being real. Um, Another indie game that I'm really looking forward to is called Haven. I don't know if you've been keeping your eye on that one.
I want to say I've heard of it, but I don't know specifically what it's about.
It's by the game bakers, the people that made Fury,
Okay.
among others. And Fury is this amazing boss rush game where you're trying to break out of this prison specifically made for you. It's really good if you like action games with good bosses, because they don't waste time with like minor enemies. It's just boss after boss after boss.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, it's this. They're saying it's an adventure RPG
Okay.
about this couple that ends up stranded on a like an uninhabited planet, and how they work together to survive on it. It looks really cute, and the point of it is that it can be played in two-player co-op. So I'm really, really looking forward to playing through that with Sriracha, my fiance, um, because it promises to be a fun story about some wholesome love.
when is that? Do you have any idea when that's supposed to be coming out?
They say it's coming out this year, I think. but that's all.
Yeah, the weird thing about that question I have right now for right now is that it doesn't seem like we know a lot that's coming this year. With all the thing that's happening, there hasn't been a lot of news.
Yeah.
We know we're getting new consoles at the end of the year. We know
Hmm.
Last of Us, uh,
Oh yeah, that one I'm really looking
Ghost of
forward to.
Tsushima, uh, and
Yeah.
Nintendo usually holds their stuff for E3 and then blows out the rest of the year. But without E3, I don't know what's going to go on. So
Yeah. Last of Us 2, I was really sad when that one got leaked. Um, yeah,
I've been able to stay away from whatever leak it is. I have no idea what it's about or what people have said about it. But
yeah. Um, I don't know if you want me to, like, obviously, I haven't seen the content of the leak, but I do know what it entails. I don't know if we're going to talk about that here because, of course, I don't want
probably
to ruin
shouldn't,
it.
just in case anybody gets like ah la 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 la.
Right. Okay.
But that was
Uh,
actually on the news thing. Was just going to talk about the leak a little, but
yeah. Yeah. But suffice it to say, there was it was a big one, and Naughty Dog released a statement about it, basically saying that's not um, that's not everything there is,
right,
and the full experience is more than a sum of the plot points.
right.
Yeah.
So
So no matter.
oh
I'm so sorry about that. My
no
dog stepped on the cord,
oh
and so yeah, Sriracha was taking him out, and he gets real excited when it's time to go outside.
no worries. I just wrote down the time that it happened for the cut, but no big deal. All
Yeah.
right, so we were talking The Last of Us, and their response was not some of the parts, and then you started saying something when you.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Okay. So uh, Doom Eternal is getting year one DLC, and so it's not a full game, but I am very much looking forward to it because the campaign of Doom Eternal was fantastic.
Okay, well, that's your topic of discussion, so we'll save that for a little later.
Okay.
Doom. Uh, so we'll move on then to. I actually skipped one. You mentioned a little bit earlier, and I don't know if it's a fond memory or just a memory, but what are some of your fondest gaming memories?
Oh, okay. Um, well, yeah, definitely playing Crash Team Racing with my dad um,
I assume you
back
played
when
the
I was real
remaster
little.
then.
Oh yeah. The remaster is so fun, and of course I got to play it at such a higher level now because back when I played it, I was like 10 maybe, and so of course I barely knew how to power slide. Um, uh, one of my one of my favorite gaming memories is I've always kind of wanted to be a gaming content creator, and so having the like we I had this little friend group of four um, that would get together sometimes, and we uh, we ended up sitting down to record an episode of to like record a playthrough of Mario Party,
Okay.
and so that's just a really great memory for me is sitting down with the three of my friends and all playing Mario Party and getting a recording. Sadly, that recording is lost to time, but it's always up here, right?
Uh, you just reminded me of something. So you said earlier
Yeah.
about like editing cuts and whatnot. So do you have a YouTube channel or anything? Or
Yeah, I mean, I can totally
yeah,
plug my stuff.
yeah. I'll do a shout out for anybody in here. But if you want to throw in the YouTube link, feel free as well. You might have to pass that to me actually or a mod.
Yeah, let me grab my links.
Are you also RedheadORama on YouTube?
Yeah, but I don't have youtube.com/redheadorama, sadly.
Okay.
Um, so let me grab
But if
this
you're watching
link.
this on YouTube, I will put the links to Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube down in the description if you want to go check him out sometime.
Here, that's my YouTube channel. I just sent it to you on Discord so I don't get sniped in your chat.
Gotcha.
Um, and then, oh yeah, you've got my Twitch channel, of course.
Yep. All right. So next up is how long have you been streaming?
So I've been streaming. Hmm. You know, it sort of depends on where you consider my start to be, because of course I said earlier I've been streaming full time for about a year and a half now, but I've been streaming off and on for um, hmm, I think Twitch has my first stream as being like 5 years ago.
Oh wow.
But of course, back then I probably was just on a laptop streaming from my like webcam, trying to like play Super Mario Bros. In an emulator or something. Um, when I really like started streaming, took my like RedheadORama brand and tried to make it something, was back when Super Mario Odyssey came out. Um, I started speedrunning it,
Oh.
and of course, you need videos to submit, and so I started getting good at that, and I started live streaming so I could have some VODs, and I would talk with chat sometimes and try to explain tricks that I was doing, and I ended up actually being in the top 100 for Super Mario Odyssey speedrunners for a while. Of course, I'm not there anymore, but I had a pretty respectable time back in the day, back in that October, November, when the game first came out.
Nice. I've
Yeah.
I've got a streamer friend, Mr. Chase, who started doing Super Mario Sunshine speedruns.
Oh man, I wish I was cool enough to do Super Mario Sunshine speedruns.
And it was interesting watching because I don't do speedruns, but him going through each part and trying to master it first and then go through. And he's actually in Minecraft rebuilding Delphine Plaza. So, so
That's
I think
cool.
he's with you on this one, if not his favorite Mario, 3D Mario.
Yeah. Yeah, I've dabbled in speedrunning Sunshine, but there are some tricks in that game that I could not pull off in a real run. Um, we've got a try hard Tuesdays now, where I'm trying to do stuff like that. So I'll be practicing the strats, and the dream is just to finish a run.
Right.
Um, yeah.
All right. So, how did you go about choosing your Twitch name?
Oh, RedheadORama. That's a funny story, actually. It's a short one though, because it's my dad's name for if I had a band, if I had like a rock band, it would be named RedheadORama, and I thought that was funny. Um, so it's totally my dad's invention. I just stole it and branded it.
That's awesome, though.
Um, yeah, yeah. My sister's name is Lauren, and he always said hers would be Born Lauren and the Snoozers.
Oh God. He did like you
all,
guys, right?
yes, all in good fun though. There is a funny story about my name though. I signed up for a Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament with that name once at just a local, and so I don't know if I like wrote it on the sheet wrong, or if he was just like going fast, but he called out my opponent's name, and then he goes, "It's so and so versus Redhead Obama." I was like, I think that's me.
Oops.
Yeah, so yeah,
I bet
RedheadORama.
people were a little confused.
Yeah, a little bit. I had to go up to him. I was like, it's not Redhead Obama. And of course, at the local scene I was at, there are let's just say I was pretty much the whitest person there. So
oh yeah, that would have
not
made it
a
really
not a
awkward.
great mistake. No, but yeah, it's. I just think it's a great name, and it's always not taken.
Right.
Like whenever, that's the most important thing, right? Is you always want to get a name that you enter in the name field, and it doesn't go, that name's already taken. You have to add a bunch of like numbers and stuff to it.
Oh, absolutely. You got it made. It's like any social platform that comes out, you're safe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not popular enough to have like doppelgangers yet.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
So
That's the dream.
what drew you to streaming, and what do you like best about it?
Yeah, what drew me most to streaming was the fact that it is sort of like long form content where you don't have to just pick the best moments um, and put them all together. It's actually really low effort a lot of times. It's at least like low stress, I guess I should say. Um, and the fact that it's such a social platform is nice. That I can, look over to my little box of chat, and there's friends there who want to talk to me, and I I will say it is pretty gratifying to get instant reactions to my jokes because I one of the things that all comedians struggle with is, am I funny? It's hard to make an objective um, uh, what am I trying evaluation of
Right.
yourself. And so, yeah, it is pretty gratifying to just look over to the little chat box and be like, I am funny.
Or at least these people think I am.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
The audience thinks you're funny. That's what matters.
Yeah, yeah. I will say there are some things that get on my nerves about streaming, like when when somebody's just being a total jerk in chat and you gotta do something about it. You kind of have to police chat sometimes. Um, of course, if you're trying to play like I saw in your description that you play some Jackbox on your channel too.
Every other Friday.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever there's people that decide like I'm gonna write penis, it's like great, man. That's great. It always it gives that feeling in my heart like I'm being taken advantage of, and I don't like that. But thankfully, that those moments are few and far between, and it is so worth it for the other benefits and high points of streaming.
I completely agree. Who are some of your favorite streamers to watch? If you watch streamers, maybe you don't.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wish I could. I wish I could. I wish I could watch more streams. But when I do watch, I watch a lot of my friends' streams. I watch Vex Composure and Bakujin and Chell. Um, and all of these are people that I know IRL. Um, I always say as soon as I get partnered, I'm making a stream team with those guys
Awesome.
because yeah. So here I'll give you their tags if you want to shout them out. It's this guy, her. I think he spells it with the TV in there.
You might have to send it via Twitch private message because I'd have to minimize your screen to get the
Oh,
names.
gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Um,
Oh, there they are. You got them. Okay.
yeah. Just suffice it to say, the streams I watch are pretty much the people I know IRL or at least personally. Uh, Steph Muffin is another really good channel. I was lucky enough to find her pretty randomly, just searching up like Crash Bandicoot streams. And she's another variety streamer like me that's just playing whatever she's interested in. She's got the Xbox Game Pass and she loves achievement hunting.
Yeah, I'm a trophy hunter myself.
Yeah, yeah. Here, I believe it's just like that is her tag. Um, yeah, that's her. Yeah, she's been playing Dark Souls 3, and that's super funny. There's a clip of her that just happened of her finding her first mimic, and of course, chat is just like, "All right, don't say anything, don't say anything," and she's like, What's gonna jump out at me in this room?" And oh, chest. It's yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, the other one I mentioned earlier was Bite Me. he's this 100% Ultra Nightmare streamer, and he's you would think somebody who like speed runs Doom on the hardest difficulty would be like this hardcore gamer, but he is just like as dadly as they get. um like he's so funny. He's just an incredibly wholesome dude, and it's always great to be in his chat.
All right. So what are your goals or aspirations for your channel as far as where do you want to take it? What do you want to do with it?
As far as long-term goals, I'd like to be partnered. I think that'd be good, to be able to make a um, I mean, it's not about the money, but it'd
Right.
be nice to make a living wage off of it. um, I it's funny. Like I kind of already consider myself really successful. So when we talk about goals, it's a little bit like there. I almost feel like there's not a whole lot further to reach, other than of course I'd like for the numbers to keep growing. I want to reach out to other people. Um, I like doing cool stuff like this podcast. That's always fun. Um, I would like to have more special guests on my stream, because I do have a lot of I have a lot of guests on my stream. I often bring over my friend Johnny Mayonnaise, or Sordior actually has been on my channel in person. Um, you know, I would love to fly Vex Composure down from Australia,
Ooh,
have him on my stream. That would be the absolute dream. Um, I've had a member of Supergiant Games on my stream on Discord.
awesome.
Um, yeah, I had an interview with Darren Korb, the audio director and composer for Supergiant Games, and that was super fun. He was a great guy. It was really fun to do that interview, and the whole video is up on my YouTube channel. Plug, plug, plug.
There you go.
Uh, so
So
go check
saying
that
that,
out.
how did that come about?
Honestly, I feel like I just got really lucky. I sent them an email, and I was like, "Hi, Supergiant Games. I'm RedheadORama. I stream your new video game. Um, do you think I could get an interview with somebody?" And Darren, or their like PR manager, messaged me back and said, "I think Darren Korb might be available for such a thing. I'll forward the email to him." And Darren Korb got back to me, and he said, "Yeah, I can do that at like this time. Does that work for you?" And I was like, "Yes." And so we did it. Like I just did I think it was about an hour and a half interview with him, and yeah, it was really fun. And it just goes to show you, sometimes all you got to do is ask,
Right.
because the worst they can say is no.
What's the saying?
Um,
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
right? Yes, I think Michael Scott said that. Yeah. Yeah. For real, it's just never think you're not good enough, because you are.
Well, that's awesome advice, and that's a really cool situation. Something that it's like people don't think you, like you said, ask. If
Yeah.
you already assume it's not going to happen,
Right.
so the worst that can happen is you get what you assumed.
Exactly.
Best case scenario, you get to interview somebody from a game company that you love their games. That's really awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What about YouTube? Did you have any aspirations for that, or is that just more of an afterthought?
I'd really like to get more highlight videos up on my YouTube, but they're very time consuming for me to make. Of course, when I stream 5 hours a day, it doesn't leave a whole lot of time for watching VODs and trying to highlight them. It's kind of a one-man show over here.
Right.
Although I will say my fiance Sriracha helps me a lot with editing and highlighting. She'll watch VODs for me, or help me put clips in the video editor. And so, I guess I shouldn't say it's a one-man show, but Um, yeah, I would like to get more highlight videos because I know that's a more enjoyable form of content for people, and that's how I keep up with my favorite streamers nowadays. Vinny of Vine Sauce and Germa. You know, I just can't catch their streams live anymore, and I feel bad about it. But I do get to watch the highlight videos, and they're just so funny. Some of the best content on YouTube.
Well, there you go. So yeah, finding time I can only imagine, but at least like you said, you have somebody who participates both on stream, which we see her. I almost see her every time I pop in the stream. She's sitting there on the couch next to you, reading the chat to you, like so
Yeah,
you don't have to lose focus, which is awesome. And then
yeah.
helping with highlights and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's been able to be on stream a lot more lately, since school's been canceled over here. Well, it's
Everywhere.
gone online anywhere. Yeah, yeah. So that's actually been really nice, because I love having her on stream, and of course the chat loves having her on stream. Um, so we get to do a lot more co-op streaming like that. But normally she is gone until like halfway through my stream on weekdays.
Mm.
And of course, even now, she has to take days off of streaming to work on assignments and troubleshooting. A lot of troubleshooting, a lot of um, eighth grade or sixth grade students emailing her just like my assignment's not working. End of email. Like, okay, what assignment is it and what's not working?
Care to be more specific?
Yeah.
Well, again, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, going outside of gaming, what are some of your hobbies and interests outside of the game sphere?
I'm sorry, outside of gaming?
Do you have any?
um, shoot, I mean, gaming is a lot of what I do. I really enjoy movies. Um, I like to I do like to watch movies, and unfortunately, all the movie theaters are closed nowadays. Um, but I really like to see movies in theaters. Um, just the experience of sitting down and watching something that a million people work together to make,
Right.
is kind of incredible to me. And I'll watch movies that I'm not even like excited to go see, um, just to sit down and like I'll watch movies that I know I'm not gonna like, just so I can be like, why don't I like this? Um, I am actually I'm almost as interested in things I don't like as things I do like, um, because I do like, I like examining it. Like, why don't I like this? What is it? Just me that's not liking this, or is this not quality?
Right.
Um, in fact, one of the things we do on our channel sometimes is we'll have fanfic readings,
Oh.
where if we're playing a game that allows it, we'll read some fan fictions of that game, uh, or just silly fan fictions in general, and of course, we don't always. I try not to poke fun at people, and the point of it isn't to be like, look at this guy's shitty piece of work. It's more of like it's more of like having fun with things that aren't so good,
Right.
things that like that you or I could have made, because I'm sure many people have a phase of like, oh yeah, I wrote a fan fiction. um, and all these mistakes and pitfalls that people run into, like, I'll say like, I'll try to read run-on sentences in an entire breath, and yeah, yeah. But yeah, I guess video editing is a bit of a hobby for me. I have a cool little trailer for my highlight video that it's currently in the works on my YouTube channel right now. That was my most recent video. I do enjoy making some some nice, some like fun edits that look satisfying. Um, yeah, I have a dog. His name's Duke, and it's a bit of a hobby for me to play with him and cuddle with him because I I I just really love dogs,
I
and
miss having a
he's
dog.
yeah yeah. Um, Duke, we got him from the Humane Society uh, 2 years ago now, and he's just the best dog. He's just sleepy all the time, and he always wants to cuddle and snuggle up. And he's got a chair on stream where he sits next to us, and yeah,
Well, that's cool. Like I said, I miss having dogs. We have 3 cats, not by necessarily my choice, but they're
I feel
here.
you.
So is Duke's last name Silver?
No, according to us, it's Orama.
DukeORama.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I just had a question I was going to ask about something, but if it comes to mind, I'll ask it later. So,
Oh yeah.
we've come to pretty much the end of the question portion. Thanks for answering it. Like, if anybody in the chat has any questions for him or me, make sure you put it in. If we want to read it, we'll read it out loud. In the meantime, we've put some of the links in there, but where can people find you?
You can find me on my Discord channel. You can find me, of course, on Twitch. You probably can't find me on YouTube. I don't do much on my YouTube except for posting highlight videos once in a blue moon. Um, oh, I think we're getting special guest
Oh,
here. Can you see him?
yes.
There he
Oh,
is.
such a cute
Hey,
puppy.
buddy.
It's our first
Yeah.
animal who's made it onto stream
Yeah.
for the podcast. Hello, Duke.
Yeah. He's a big squishy dog. So
He's too warm.
yeah.
Hello,
It's-
futures
it's-
Mrs. Orama.
Tidus says hi.
Hi.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I've got my Discord link. If I can plug that, I'll send that to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So on my Discord, we like to just chat about whatever. No real theme to it. There's of course, a channel that I post in for like stream announcements, but my general chat, there's there's been people talking about like old records in there and talking about gaming news and sharing memes and all that, and so it's really become a livelier place in recent months, and I'm super happy about it.
That's cool. All
Yeah.
right. So we will switch over from there and head to. Come on. All right. So next section is what are you playing? So right now, I know it's going to be kind of different for you because you stream a lot of different stuff. I'm not sure I've ever seen you stream the same game twice. Now I don't get to come watch it often, but every time I jump in there, it's like this isn't the same game I saw like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I will say, if you're asking me what you can expect to see on stream, that's kind of it. It's a different game every time. But some of the things we stream pretty regularly is every Saturday we've been playing Phoenix Wright.
nice.
Yeah, and so that's been super fun. It's not new to me or Soraya, but it is new to a lot of our viewers, and we love showing off all the secrets and doing some voice acting. Which I guess is another one of my hobbies that I would really like to do professionally. It's one of those dreams I haven't really put a whole lot of work into, but maybe someday.
Absolutely.
I saw that you had a channel points redeemed for that, and I gotta say you pull it off.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, voiceover work is always appealing, but you never you don't think how do you get into that line of work and practicing and finding a voice and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's something to think about later down the line once I've got my stream stuff a little more solid.
So, is there
Uh,
anything off stream that you play, like, or do you usually only save it for stream?
there's not a whole lot that I play off stream nowadays. I've found that the best stream content I have um, is games I'm excited to play, and so of course if I play those off stream, then I'm just missing out on my best channel. But I I do play games offline a little bit. I played Borderlands 3 with Sriracha and our friend Benjamin um, off stream. That was pretty fun. It's I gotta say, Borderlands 3 is one of those games that's full of bugs, but you'll be having enough fun that you won't really care.
You go. I haven't got a chance to play three yet. I played the prior ones, but
Yeah, no, okay, then I won't spoil anything, of course, but it's worth a playthrough if you like looter shooters.
have you heard the rumors about the movie, the potential movie?
No, Borderlands movie?
Yeah. The only thing I heard there's supposed to be a movie, and that Kate Blanchett, I think that's who it is being looked at for Lilith. So that's like that came out this last week, just randomly. So I was like, okay, sure, we'll see if it ever
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. Video game movies, are kind of a hit or miss situation. Um,
Unfortunately,
yeah, I actually really liked the Sonic movie,
I've heard a lot of
but
good things, and I want to see it, but I haven't seen it yet.
yeah, I think the reason the Sonic movie did well was not because someone said, let's just make a Sonic movie, but because somebody said, I have a great script for a movie involving Sonic.
I'm sure Jim Carrey helps.
Oh, yes. And, like, the thing is, Jim Carrey is really good, but he's not carrying the whole movie on his back. He has some great people to act with.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. If the movie was just Jim Carrey and a bunch of, like, cardboard cutouts, it wouldn't be as good as it is.
But it is nice to see Jim Carrey back in classic Jim Carrey form.
Yeah, yeah. He's had a bit of a hard life, bit of a tough time of it. If you follow some of the stuff about him,
Yeah, I've
I
seen
won't
some
really
of
talk.
it, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I won't really talk much about it because I'm not super educated, and it's a lot of he says this, but she says this,
right.
and yeah, yeah. Anyway, um, what were we talking about?
What we're playing now,
Oh
my,
yes, yes. What we're playing now. I've I've been playing, of course, a lot of Doom Eternal, but that's my discussion topic, so I'll zip it on that for right now. Um, and I've been getting a little bit into classic Doom as well because I never played those. Those were a little before my time, um, but I have a friend actually who's been getting us into like online multiplayer classic Doom with the Brutal
oh,
Doom mod. So we're getting to play the classics together with the like new flair. Um, of course, like way better effects and everything, and
right.
there's like fatalities in it, and yeah.
Well, my list is pretty short. I'm currently playing Final Fantasy VII Remake and Animal Crossing. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
Waiting
yeah.
for I'll be hitting up either Resident Evil 2 remake or Spider-Man after Final Fantasy, and then probably
Mm.
Last of Us 2.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. The you're talking about Spider-Man, the PS4 game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. That is a fantastic game.
That's why I've been excited to play it. So I bought the Game of the Year edition on Black Friday last year, and I've just been waiting. I was going to play it after one game, but then I couldn't finish it in time. Then I was like, I have to play Final Fantasy VII now, and then I'll move on.
Yeah, yeah. I I gotta say, I was a little disappointed that they decided the Final Fantasy VII remake was going to be three $60 discs.
Well, we don't even
um,
know if it's 3.
Oh, true. Wow. Yeah. I guess I just assumed.
The number of
Um,
parts is currently unknown, and they don't have an answer for us. And most people are
yeah.
disappointed. That being said, the end product I'm enjoying a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's why I'm disappointed is because it looks so good, but I don't really have any nostalgia for it. I thought this would be like a really good way to get into it, and now they're like, you'll have to pay like $180. It's like, oh.
Give it 10 years, and you can probably grab a collection.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna do. Sortier's this big rip on that. Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on from that and go to your topic of choice, which it might be the first video game topic we've ever had on here because it's usually we've had
Oh
people
yeah.
do art, writing, and stuff like that. But you've chosen Doom. So
Yeah.
what about Doom did you want to talk about?
Well, I actually do have a current events sort of thing to bring up with Doom Eternal, and that's that there was a big controversy over the
Soundtrack?
yeah, the soundtrack. Yeah, you've heard about that.
When I was looking up news today, I was going Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, seeing what was going on, and I only looked at that because your topic was Doom, so I was like, let me check that out.
Yeah. Basically, long story short, the OST came out later than expected, and it only had, I think it was like 9 tracks that were actually mixed for like headphones listening. Um, at in contrast to like mixed for compression into a video game, um, which is a pretty big difference.
Oh yeah, I mean it was
Um,
noticeable enough for people to call out, and be like, hey,
yeah,
what's this crap?
yeah, it's and the other tracks on the soundtrack aren't unlistenable. They're not like terrible, but when people were expecting this Mick Gordon music, they were expecting some quality. So people reached out to Mick Gordon and they were like, "What's going on here?" And he had some vague things to say. Uh, Basically, the takeaway was, "I don't think I will be working with id Software anymore on Doom."
Did
And
they do the
so,
first Doom as well? The first
uh,
or the newest ones?
yeah, in 2016 they brought Mick Gordon in to do the soundtrack on that, and it created an iconic sound that people love. I mean, it's amazing. If you haven't listened to that soundtrack, you absolutely should, because it's some just like gut wrenching metal that is amazing. Um, and Mick Gordon actually kind of had uh, to push to get it to sound like that. Like for a while, they were like, apparently they were telling him like no guitars in the soundtrack because it's going to sound too cliche. Um, and so he he eventually pushed for it, and he got the soundtrack that we know and love today. And Doom Eternal has some amazing tracks as well. But the problem is, this OST, these cut tracks that are meant to be listened to, just aren't the same quality as 2016's. And um, just recently, like maybe a week ago, um, creative director uh, Hugo Martin, um, I think it was Hugo, might have been Marty actually. Hold on. Um, sort of. No, it was Marty, executive producer at id Software. Um, Came out with an explanation from their side, and basically what happened. I say basically a lot.
Yeah.
It's a bad habit. My bad. What happened was, um, according to them, Mick was not going to make the deadline, the original deadline. The soundtrack was supposed to release with the game as part of the collector's edition, and it didn't. So he requested an extension and received it to early April. And so he was working more, and then like come April, he started being like, "Hey, could one of your guys work together with me to make um, some tracks that are basically just ripped from the game files?" And they said sure, and so um, they sort of didn't hear a lot from him. So all they had was the 12 tracks mixed by Mick, and the other um, like 48 tracks were the compressed versions um, from the game. And it seemed like Mick was not expecting them to release every track from the game as the compressed files. It seemed like it seemed to them like what he expected was something of a smaller scope, and so he was a little frustrated that, you know, a whole I'm not good at math, a whole like 70% of the OST was unmixed tracks, and of course, obviously, so were the other people. Um, and unfortunately, the sound director at id, uh, Chad Mossholder, I believe it is. Um, he got a lot of flack for this because people didn't know what was going on, and they thought id Software was like not allowing Mick to finish his work, when in reality he requested and received extensions and then missed deadlines. Um, so I'm kind of likening it to a bit of a Kojima thing, because I really enjoy Metal Gear, where this company that's focused on making money um, is asking this artist like, "Hey, we need your art. We need it out." And he's like, "Oh, I'm still working on it." And they're like, "No, you're not, bud. Like, we need it out now." Um, and a similar thing is rumored to have happened to Metal Gear Solid 5, which is a game that, by anyone's standards, is incomplete, unfortunately.
I never got around to playing 5 or 4 for that matter. I played all the ones prior, just not those.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5 is the gameplay feels good. The story is piecemeal. Obviously, it is not as complete as the other games.
Right.
And that's really obvious to me now. But of course, I had a kind of a weird introduction to the series because Metal Gear Solid 5 was my first Metal Gear. And so I didn't notice it at the time, but now, having played all the other games, I realized that, like, oh man, this is not how it's supposed to be.
It's a very different game.
Yeah. And so all that tangent to say that art sometimes gets in the way of business, and business sometimes gets in the way of art.
Yeah, it's true.
Thankfully, id Software has said, they said in this like letter that they released, that if Mick would like to release other tracks as like bonus tracks to the OST, they will update the OST with his bonus tracks.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so hopefully in time we will be getting the Mick mix.
But you don't think there'll be any Mick for Doom 3?
They've said they're not. They aren't working with Mick Gordon on the DLC. That's all they've said. And back when this was still all happening, somebody messaged Mick and was like, "Hey, do you think you're going to be on if they do a sequel to Doom Eternal?" And he said, "We probably won't work together again."
Usually not a good sign.
Yeah, this might be the end of Mick Gordon on Doom, but who knows? It could all work out for the better, and maybe this misunderstanding will all blow past once the heat dies down. But who knows?
Yeah, only time will tell.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I understand either decision.
Right.
Um, and to be fair to Mick, they mentioned that for their like March release date, um, so they had a March release date. It was like March 20th,
Right.
and um, they only drew up a contract for the OST like February 24th is
Oh,
the date in this letter that they said they finalized the agreement.
less than a month to get it all done.
Yeah, less than a month to get like 60 tracks.
Oof.
Um, their agreement was for a minimum of 12. So he reached their contracted thing, but unfortunately, a lot of those tracks that he mixed were of the like ambient sort, not really the kind of action metal battle music that you kind of expect from a Doom soundtrack.
Right.
So, to be fair to Mick, um, they should have been thinking about that way sooner than they contracted him for it. Um, but yeah, it's just a really unfortunate situation that it ended the way it did. Um, yeah, and it's interesting a lot of times how art can interfere with business, and how business can interfere with art. Like I was saying.
All right. So, is there anything else Doom related you wanted to talk about?
Oh shoot, I could talk for hours about how much I love the new Doom Eternal. It's honestly like calling it a first person shooter is not describing the scope of what it is. It's insane. It's a ballet of death.
A
Um,
ballet of death.
yeah, it's you have cooldowns for like a bunch of different things. Um, in Doom, there's no reloading, um, which is which is interesting. It's very much a choice because you think of a first person shooter, you have like a primary and a secondary weapon. You have to reload your weapon once it's done with the once your clip is done. And, but in Doom, you have all your weapons. They never have to reload. But the way they make you switch weapons is um, the ammo capacity for the weapons is pretty limited. If you fire a weapon for for a few seconds, you're going to run out of the ammo in it really fast, and so you're constantly switching to different weapon types and using the chainsaw, which is your way of getting back ammo. You kill enemies with the chainsaw, and they burst into a splash of ammo of all types. Um, and there's neat tricks that are like totally part of the game design, where so you have the super shotgun, right? It's double barreled shotgun. You shoot it, he has to open it, eject the shells, put in new shells, click, and then you can shoot it again, right?
Isn't that called reloading?
Right. But um, it's actually more of a cooldown than it is a reload animation. So if you shoot the shotgun and then switch to your laser, your ballista laser, you can shoot the ballista laser
Go back
and
to
then
the
switch
shotgun.
to the shotgun, and the shotgun's ready to fire again.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's that's basically the I said it again. That's the advanced mechanic of the shooting in that game is managing your shots. So obviously your rocket launcher can't shoot that often. So you can go to your shotgun, shoot a rocket, shoot a shotgun, shoot a laser, and every enemy has different weaknesses. Enemies with shields in front of them, you can overload the shield with the plasma rifle and make it explode on all the enemies nearby. Um, the your ballista, your laser cannon does more damage to flying enemies. So if you're aiming right, you can get extra damage there. Your rifle, you can do a scope shot that's more powerful, and it'll instantly destroy weak points on enemies. So, like the Mancubus has his arm cannons, and you can blow off the arm cannons, and he loses access to a bunch of his attacks. So you're constantly thinking about this, thinking about um, what are the dangerous enemies in the arena? How's my ammo? How's my chainsaw? How's my flame belch? You have left flame belch on cooldown. When you light enemies on fire, they drop armor. When you get an enemy low health and melee kill him, you gain health from that. So you're just constantly thinking. You're constantly thinking. It is constantly engaging you in a cycle of thinking about what you're doing, and that's so important to be engaged, to be thinking about what you're doing, not just to be, oh, there's the big guy over there, better hold click on him.
Right. And when you look at the game, you wouldn't think that. Just like a quick glance, boom, you shoot something, it blows up. It's one of those type of games.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not.
But yeah.
It's not
But what you're
Duke
not
Nukem.
seeing. Yeah, what you're not seeing is the fact that, like, oh, he shot that demon in a specific area with a specific weapon to make him blow up like that. And yeah, it's incredible, and it feels so good to play. Sorry, go on.
No, that's what I've heard. It's like it's a series that I really had no interest in until the Doom 2016 came out, and I've heard all the things about it, and then Eternal and all the great things. Where one day I'll get to it, but whereas before, not knowing much about it, the series beforehand, I wouldn't have given it a second thought. But it sounds like they've done like real justice to a game that nobody would have thought they could have done.
Yeah, they revitalized the franchise, and id Software really has their finger on the pulse of what's fun. They keep you having fun the whole time,
which is important, because if you have to do all that thinking, like keeping track of everything, if you're not enjoying yourself, then people aren't going to come back.
Yeah, like the glory kills. I'm sure you've seen. You do things like rip a guy's spine out of his back, or like crush his head with your fist, or slice him in half. They're not just visually impressive and cool, but they're also like they're a little breather, because the bigger the enemy is, the longer the glory kill animation is usually. So you kill a little guy, you're basically just gonna like kick him and then slice him in half and he's done. But if you kill like one of the giant tyrants, you jump onto his head and you stab him in the eye, and you like ride him down to the ground, take out your blade. And it's not just like a little like treat for the player, like a little reward for killing this giant enemy, but it's also a breather, because you're invincible during glory kill animations. So they give you these breathers where you're able to like, you look at all your corners of the screen, check out your health, check out your ammo and your cooldowns, and you think to yourself like, all right, after I kill this guy, I'm gonna go do this. And that way they let you do these bursts of intense movement and action, and also let you have a breather and think without clicking escape, pausing the game, and ruining the flow. So all stuff like that, there's so many little touches like that in the game that make it fun to play, that make it like almost subtly like perfect. And that's just like I can't even really describe it super well without just letting you play it.
Right.
But yeah, there's everything that you would think definitely interacts that way. There's all sorts of fun secrets on the maps that you can go get. They like to hide the dope fish in places, which is their little like goofy symbol.
Dope fish?
Yeah, the dope fish. It's like a goofy like buck-toothed fish face. For all the way from Commander Keen, the DOS game. And id Software, it's just their favorite joke. They love hiding it in places, and Um, there's so infamously in Doom 2, they decided that Doom Guy had a pet rabbit named Daisy, and when he finally gets back to Earth after all his like rampaging in hell, he realizes that like the demons have invaded Earth now, and they killed Daisy, and so now he's like out for revenge. Um, and so people of course love the stupid lore of this, amazing badass killing machine super soldier or hellwalker having like a little bunny named Daisy. And so id Software hid a Daisy in every level.
No.
There is a little brown bunny in every level, and it's not just like a little, static model. It's actually like sniffing the ground and like looking around and stuff, and you can find one in every level. And it's just those kind of things that make it feel more like a video game, and less like a movie, or it makes it feel interactable.
Gotcha. Random note, I do love since it came out on the same day, I love their back and forth they had with Animal Crossing before release. With all the Isabelle and Doom Guy, like little crossover arts and tweets back and forth. I thought that was pretty cool. And it's showing that two different genres can coexist and, not be like, buy us. No, it's like, you can have it all. I know somebody, Waffle Outlaw, who literally, like, he'd be like, I want to play Doom. And then, like, 2 hours later, it's like, all right, I need something to kind of calm down. Let me go play Animal Crossing. And he was playing both on the stream, same stream, and it's nice to see.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting things is that a lot of people that don't play games might not understand, is like those two games can appeal to the same person. Because when you play a game, you're not just playing it for one specific thing. There's not a lot of people. I'm sure there are some people, but there's not a lot of people who are like, I only play games where I get to kill other human beings. Like, that's not really a thing. Obviously, it's fun to click on guys. Thus is the philosophy that founded Overwatch and Call of Duty and Battlefield and all these shooters, where it's just fun to click on guys. And there's more to it than that, obviously. But yeah, the aesthetic of Doom is interesting. How it's, obviously is very atmospheric. At one point in Doom, I won't spoil it, in Doom Eternal, but you go to a brand new dimension, something that's never been seen before in the Doom franchise, and it is otherworldly. It's immediately different than the Earth dimension or the Hell dimension. It's in a league of its own, and it's crazy to be there and just to feel like you don't belong. The music there is different and everything. So yeah. And then there's Animal Crossing, where you're just you're a cute little chibi dude, and you go and make everybody happy by bringing them gifts and making a bridge across a waterfall, and
and you celebrate that. You literally, it's like, hey, do you want to hold a celebration for that bridge we built?
Yeah, and you're like, yes, of course I do. Because all your villagers get to be there and talk about what a great job you did. And it's not the same kind of fun, but it is fun, and that's what matters. Like, it's fun to just live in a cutesy world sometimes, and to like go up to a guy and be like, hey, do you want this like leaf chair that I just made? And he's like, yes, here, have a bowling ball. And
that sums up Animal Crossing pretty nicely.
Yeah. And maybe Animal Crossing doesn't challenge you like Doom does, but sometimes you don't want to be challenged. Sometimes you do want to be challenged, and sometimes you don't.
Right.
And
you just want to kick back and be a little creative, or
yeah. And of course, let me say, it's perfectly fine to play Doom on the easiest difficulty, because that's also canon. There's like two ways to play Doom. There's either the you're constantly on the verge of dying and you have to manage all your cooldowns and you have to be like the apex predator to survive. Or there's you're an unstoppable badass rampaging through hell and all the demons are scared of you. And that both of those are canon as far as I'm concerned. I think you should never like disparage people for what difficulty they play on, because it's a player choice.
We'll stop Doom there. I do appreciate the discussion. It's a game I definitely want to check out at some point, both of them, because I've heard good things. We will move on to the new stuff real quick. I don't want to skip that completely. So, gaming news. If you had anything, feel free to... Actually, what did you... Is there anything you wanted to talk about specifically?
Oh, I was just bringing the Mick Gordon stuff to the table.
No problem. So some of the things I found, and feel free to interject at any point in time. TGS has been canceled, Tokyo Game Show. Obviously, with a lot of events being canceled, it's only a matter of time on which ones were going to be, and I think they waited as long as they could. And they're going to do some kind of online component, but their in-person thing is canceled.
Yeah. Evo also was canceled, which is the biggest fighting game tournament in the world. And, of course, this is the 1 year where Sarai and I were like, I think we're going to Evo this year. I think we had flights, we were registered, we had hotel room.
No, not this year.
I'm so sad about it, but we'll go another year.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they had a release trailer last week, I think. So a little bit of news, they came out and said it's going to be a little bit shorter than Odyssey was. I guess they said based on feedback from people that it was a little too bloated, like way too much to do, like hundreds of hours. They're going to cut back a bit. Whether or not that's an excuse or it's actual or it's actually something people want, who knows. Only they do. Mortal Kombat 11 is getting an update, story update, which I didn't expect. I didn't see coming. That includes RoboCop also in the update. So expect RoboCop in your fighting game soon. RoboCop versus Terminator finally.
Yeah, NetherRealm has been really good about supporting Mortal Kombat games past release. Except for, unfortunately, the PC version of Mortal Kombat 10 was like dropped during their content. Like they were just like, PC's not getting these DLC packs and will stop being updated now. Like we're done. And so that was unfortunate because I play a lot of my fighting games on PC.
Let's see. We talked briefly about The Last of Us 2 spoilers. I mean, I don't know the specifics. They said they know who it was, but it wasn't anybody internal. But if you guys know spoilers, don't tell them to anybody. Don't leak them, even if it ends up not being that big of a deal. People have been waiting for this game for a while, so please don't.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing, because I look at news for the last month since that's when the last time I did the podcast. So Animal Crossing had the Nature Day or Nature Week update earlier or at the end of April that added bushes and leaf that now comes to your town randomly. The Mayday tour, which a lot of people said was disappointing, which I would tend to agree. I don't know if do you play Animal Crossing?
I haven't played a ton of Animal Crossing lately. It's mostly a game we got for Sriracha.
Did you do the Mayday tour or see her do it?
No. I think the last event we took part in was the Egg Day.
Okay. So the Mayday thing is literally was just you get one ticket to do this one time where you go to they send you to an island that's basically a maze. They take away all your items and you go and you figure out the maze. It's super short and super simple, and when you're done, that's it. So I think it's a testing ground to see if there's something they should add regularly. But if they do, they need to step up their game, honestly.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying for more like really regular tiny updates rather than like seasonal big updates.
That being said, June is wedding season for Animal Crossing. So it looks like it'll just be like a lot of different. You can set up a little chapel area and take pictures, but they haven't really said what it's for specifically. So they showed a little bit of editing of the room, and they showed, I forget the name of the two characters, the two like sheep characters that are husband and wife, and we know that, and they were like holding hands and stuff. So what you're actually going to be able to do, who knows? But that's
Hopefully, we can
the entire
finally
month of
marry
June.
Tom Nook.
Oh god, the access to the bells that you'll have. Let's see, and then of course the addition of the art gallery. Red is now available to go buy fake or real art from, and you try to fill your museum like you do with all your fish and bugs and dinosaur bones. Oh, Arox, thank you for the gifts of the sword. You're very much appreciated. Xbox showcase. They did their first next gen showcase like 2 days ago, showing off all the, or not all, but like it's all third party. Some gameplay, some trailers for the first time. Thank you for the gift sub sortier to the community. And Kit Curvis, enjoy the emotes. So I don't know if you got to see that, or just like our first look at next gen, which was pretty neat.
Yeah, yeah. I gosh, the last Xbox I owned was like an Xbox 360. Um, Back when I don't play a whole lot of games on console anymore, but of course the PlayStation exclusives keep drawing me in, and I'm jealous of my friends that have the Xbox Game Pass because that seems like a really good deal. Oh, and I've heard that uh, what was it? Some developer is saying the games that they're selling right now will be able to be upgraded to next gen for free.
Yes, that's on here. It's part of this. They call it smart delivery. Any games that, or not any games, but select games, whatever, probably if they get agreement from the third party for those games. But any games that are available on current gen, next gen, and supposedly any future gen, if it's available, you will be able, you own it, period. So you'll be able to download it for that console moving forward for any upgraded versions or whatever that they have of that same game. So interesting. I'll be interested to see what games take part in it. A lot of the ones that they showcased are a part of this smart delivery because they plan on doing release now, I think, and then having a port come later. And then, hey, you already own it. You should buy this new Xbox. So
Yeah, that's a really nice thing because that's one of the things that PC games really have up on console is that if you upgrade your PC, you can still play all your games, but if you upgrade your console, you got no library for that console.
well,
Unless
I'm happy with all the backwards compatibility that's coming on and stuff like that. So for both
right, yeah,
PlayStation and Xbox, so
right, yeah,
very happy with how things are moving along there. I think they finally heard people.
yeah.
And July will be the first party reveals for the Xbox. PlayStation is being a lot more quiet about it. I can't wait. I'm more of a PlayStation guy myself, but we'll see. And
Yeah.
think that's all I got on the news. If anybody has any questions or anything for me or Red, feel free to bring them up. We'll switch to the wrap up. I do want to say thank you very much for joining me today, Red, taking the time.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it's nice getting to know you a lot better, or at all.
Right.
Hopefully, I'll be able to catch a stream at some point. Like I said, you're kind of like in that block where I'm taking care of the kids and putting them down for the night and all that fun stuff. But I do want to check it out. You seem like a really cool guy. We'll throw out another shout out for those here at Twitch and on YouTube. If you're watching, it'll be in the description below. Red.
Thank you.
So what's going to happen now for those here at Twitch, we are going to transition to the ending screen, but then we will come back to do the drawing for the gift sub giveaway. So stick around. Don't leave just because I'm saying goodbye. So thanks again, Red. Thanks you, everybody, for coming in today. Next month, we have Zombienm, a friend of mine who will be on joining. And then in July, we have It's Bits. So I usually don't have people that far in advance, but here we go.
Nice.
So yes, this has been episode 17. I am Tidus, and thank you, Red. Thank you, chat. And we'll catch you all next month for episode 18.
Bye-bye.